Big news from Six Flags as the highly anticipated Flash Vertical Velocity and Georgia Surfer roller coasters have been delayed till 2025.
Both of these were put out in statements by the park on all their social media, and both of them started with something positive, something new that was coming that was not the roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic PR move. I remember back when Kingsby announced their removal of Volcano, they buried it at the bottom of this like big long paragraph, like talking about all the amazing
And by the way, we're taking
things.
away our signature roller coaster. Bye.
literally. And there's such thing as like when you have bad news, you release it like at the end of the workday, and this is like exactly what they did here. I would say, though, this is not a huge surprise to a lot of people because the construction sites for both coasters have been rather stagnant.
But weirdly enough, the track work is done on both.
Yeah, so basically what that tells us is that the suppliers, Intamin and Vekoma, fulfilled their end of the bargain. They delivered the agreed upon products, meaning the track for the roller coasters. I'm pretty sure Flash at least has their trains on site. I don't know about over Georgia's. Clearly they hit another snag in the construction process.
Yeah, so let's talk about Great Adventure first because this one's particularly bad. If you didn't already know, Great Adventure opened in 1974, which would make this year, 2024, their 50th anniversary. They screwed the pooch on this one a little bit.
Yeah, this was like the big new roller coaster that was announced for their 50th anniversary. I remember Salim Basul, who was the CEO of the Six Flags chain at the time, said that they were able to add a rather last-minute big new addition to celebrate the park's anniversary. There's some rumors going around that both Georgia Surfer and the Flash were supposed to go to a park in Vietnam that fell through, and Six Flags swept in last minute and acquired both coasters. Again, that's just speculation, but it would make a lot of sense and it would line up with what Salim said at the time. So that could also explain why it seemed like construction started a little late for both coasters. But that's also very much like Six Flags to do, is to start their construction a little late. They don't really care about getting their rides open on opening day. I think they probably still struggled with this decision because on one hand, what happens is you have all these guests that have purchased up their season passes under the impression that they would be riding a new roller coaster this year.
And probably getting a past preview or something like that.
Yeah, and so they have all these benefits, they've spent the money, and now they're not fulfilling their end of the bargain, and so you're gonna have a lot of unhappy customers.
Kind of akin to what happened with like Iron Gwazi and the other SeaWorld roller coaster that didn't open. And now, there were 3 new roller coasters within these Six Flags, like the original Six Flags chain that were supposed to open this year. One of them did, and that was Bobcat.
And
Great job.
That was the one going in the spot of a former roller coaster. So Great Escape bulldozed an old roller coaster and built up the new one before these ground-up coasters were built that didn't replace anything.
Because I think that one was more of a concrete plan. It seems like the other 2 parks, they were able to grab up the coasters at like a lower cost, and they didn't really think ahead about like the other infrastructure that it would require, and maybe made promises that they wouldn't be able to deliver on with the other stuff.
Right. The other thing I will add is that Bobcat was constructed by the Gravity Group, whereas the others, to my understanding, were third-party contractors that were brought in for these projects. I remember seeing like photos of the construction process of Georgia Surfer a while ago, and they hadn't even done like footers in the ground. Meanwhile, all these other roller coasters are going vertical, and so it does make you wonder though, like why they specifically chose to push it next year. So I'm mainly talking about over Georgia here because they are open 10 months out of the year. Georgia is a fairly warm place that if you were to open up a new roller coaster in October, which I feel like is still feasible for that project, why not? Something must have happened that they said we were going to post that to 2025, which granted, I do now think that probably both coasters will open in the early side of 2025. Like Great Adventure's opening day is typically in March. I would not be surprised if it's like end of March or early April, something like that.
Yay, 51st anniversary.
Yeah.
But so the Great Adventure one is interesting to me because I feel like one of the biggest critiques about this coaster had nothing to do with the coaster itself. It's a great idea, it's a great model, it looks fantastic, but it was a capacity issue. Great Adventure is one of the flagship parks in the Six Flags chain, and sometimes you get days that are very not busy, but you also get days that are absolutely slammed.
Yeah.
And that's the more likely option because it is so popular and it's right outside of New York. It's accessible from Philly, South Jersey, all of those places. So having a roller coaster that operates on one train without a turntable is not the smartest idea. And I'm wondering if they had a similar realization to what Over Texas had with Aquaman. And they're like, crap. maybe we should add a turntable.
Yeah, Overtex has delayed Aquaman by a full year after it had already been delayed a year because of COVID. But this time was because they realized that they really needed that second ride vehicle. And so they worked in the turntable, ride opened, and that definitely seemed like the right decision. But people were still pretty annoyed that they didn't do that, like, from the beginning. And
this would be way worse if they saw what happened over there and still didn't take note of it and did it again.
Yes, and keep in mind, it is way more expensive to add a turntable after you've already constructed everything. Like, it's different if you have it in the plans from the beginning. And the reason why this is a decent theory is because Six Flags Great Adventure did not say why they are delaying the Flash. Over Georgia had a specific reason. Our team is working diligently to address construction and supply challenges, and we appreciate your patience and understanding. So maybe it's a supply chain issue. I mean, there's also the theory that maybe they could be adding a turntable to Over Georgia. That one, though, I'm less likely to believe. But Great Adventures, I think there's a decent chance that's what's happening.
I think so, too. I think that line is going to be really bad otherwise. So, again, I really hope this isn't like a, hindsight's 2020. I wish we would have thought of that because Over Texas already did the thinking on that one for them.
Yeah, well, and I'm sure Vekoma offered it. This was probably like that would cost more money. Like, no, we don't want to do that. Or it would take too much time. We might risk missing our 50th anniversary, so we're just going to, go ahead with the base model. And now here we are, and it's happening anyways.
Yeah, so definitely not an ideal situation. Congratulations to Great Escape, though, for being the one of the 3 Six Flags parks that nailed it.
The U.S. is having kind of an unfortunate year when it comes to new for 2024 roller coasters. Like, our biggest new one is Iron Menace.
Yeah, well, Iron Menace has an issue with the track at the very end of the ride. I'm hoping they'll address it during the off-season. We have Triple Loop, which is brand new, and it's closed all the time, and it's horrible.
Yeah.
Then we have these two, which just got delayed.
The Family Boomerangs turned out great, though. Really happy for them.
Those are really good, but yeah, it's a little bit of a tough year.
Yeah, I think the international parks win this round. Ireland, UK, Germany, you nailed it.
I do believe that supply chain really is a factor, though, because importing, a lot of these companies, we are importing from
Europe.
Yeah. So it definitely is feasible that that's a big problem, but I feel like this has been going on for a while, that supply chain's been a problem, and I would like to believe that parks have had a little bit of foresight about that.
Yeah, well, and I look at King's Dominion is currently constructing Rapterra, and again, it is currently August. That ride is at least half built, and King's Dominion typically opens in March. I fully anticipate that roller coaster being ready by opening day.
Yeah.
And that is something that Cedar Fair has always strived towards, and I hope that the new Six Flags Entertainment organization goes for that as well.
Sprinkle a little wisdom on them.
To the legacy Six Flags parks, because I feel like having the entire season to ride your new roller coaster is a lot better than riding it towards the end of the year.
Well, that also gives a lot of less opportunity for people to go. Not everyone can go in August. If you're a teacher, by August you're back. You're back and doing stuff. So you can't go anymore.
I feel bad for all the people at Lagoon who bought their season passes, and then Primordial opened the last 2 weekends of the season. But I'll give Lagoon props. They had every opportunity to delay Primordial until 2024, but they said, we're going to open it at the end of 2023 anyways because we made a promise to our guests.
Yeah. So, definitely unfortunate news. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. We'll be there riding it next year, I guess.
Just stay tuned to the park socials. Maybe we'll see some updates on if they are adding a turntable to any of them or if they do manage to open them in the spring. So, we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and of course, make sure to stay tuned for more here at Coaster Studios, and we'll see you next time.